Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Year in Early Childhood Development. If this is your first time tuning in, a warm welcome to you, whether you're joining us live or you're watching the replay. So, this evening, we bring the curtains down on an amazing year of learning and growing with the team at ECC in the year of early childhood development. Hi, Natalia. Thank you for joining us. Great to have you. And for all of you, our lovely viewers who come on each week, Thursdays, 8 p.m., or maybe you're locked into the year of early childhood development and you're here with us on third Thursdays. That's all right. Thanks for being a part of the Serenity Resource Connector family. Hi, Sophia. Thank you all. Team ECC is in the building. I hope I just had two C's. All right. It has been a fantastic journey, and joining me for the review of the Year of Early Childhood Development 2022 is none other than the ECC Executive Director, the beautiful Karlene DeGrasse-Deslandes. I hope I got the first one right.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
It is really great to have you in this space with us. Edie, what a
Thank
journey it
you.
has been.
It has been a great year for us, and it gives me immense pleasure to be a part of the program, especially this year, as the year, as you know, has been proclaimed the year of early childhood development by our Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen. And we are just, elated. We are involved in a lot of activities. We engage a lot of our partners because we wanted to make the year very significant. But I want to also take the opportunity to applaud you and all the work you and your team for a job well done, all the work you've been doing. We reviewed the analytics for your program, and two of our episodes, yay, were labeled most viewed. These were in season 2, episode 6, which is the year of early childhood development, and episode 15, which was our PDI. Yay!
Yes.
So, we entered this journey together at the start of the year. I must say it has been a wonderful, wonderful journey with you and the program.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let me thank the ECC team for inviting me to moderate the last day of PDI. It was just so amazing. And when I saw that PDI was and July mid-year was that period that we got the most views, live views. It was just so amazing. And the way it all started, it's just fascinating. It's like a match made in heaven.
It is.
Indeed. All right. And I must share with you of the 4 or 5 series that we've had throughout the year. It's not just episodes, but for the entire program.
Okay.
Those 2 were actually the top programs for the entire year. So let me just clarify. It's not.
Drum roll, please.
All right. I need to get some fancy things in the place for 2023.
Yes.
You're right. So it's an awesome, it's a big deal for Team ECC. And I'm so happy that more traction is going on where early childhood is concerned. As I've said in all the other series, if we get the early childhood development aspect right, then the community safety and security aspect of things will be taken care of.
All the other parts.
All the other parts will
come together. And our children would be able to be operating at their fullest.
That's
competing with everybody across the world. They are already doing that.
Yes.
But, it would increase exponentially if we get early childhood right.
Right. And as I was sharing with you before we came on, I had the awesome opportunity. Let me thank Honorable Sally Porteous, former Customs of Manchester, who is now the CEO for Crystal House Jamaica, for inviting myself and a couple of other chamber presidents to visit with them right next to I'm trying to remember the high school there, right out in the heart of Spanish Town.
Okay.
Yes, and it was just so awesome. It's like an oasis in the middle of the desert. And
So
if
you
we can
saw
get,
early childhood development in action, what it's supposed to be.
that's it. If we
Yeah.
can get the other institutions looking and feeling like
Love
that
that.
atmosphere. Oh, Jamaica. Yes, Jose Marti. Thank you, Sophia.
Mhm.
Indeed. Right next to Jose Marti. Beautiful. All right. And we want to continue to support these different entities as they come on stream. All
Mhm.
right. So we are here to do the review.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it has been a wonderful year. It has been a year that has been filled with many activities. We some we consider milestone activities. For example, as I said before, this year being proclaimed the year of early childhood development, that is definitely a big deal. And so we wanted to do activities that were significant. We wanted to ensure that we left a mark on the sector, left a mark with our children or our stakeholders, our children, our parents, our practitioners. So in February, we celebrated Play Month with our activities for our practitioners, our parents, and our children. You know, play is defined as a child's work. And so, therefore, in February, we encourage all our stakeholders to join the play conversation and the activities to increase the significance, to increase the emphasis that we were placing on play. COVID took us out of school for a while. COVID took us off the playground. So we therefore needed to re-engage our practitioners, our parents, and encourage our children that play was indeed okay. This was achieved through our Reimagining Play series that started in January, and it will continue through 2023. So I'm asking everyone to look out for it because our Reimagining Play series continue. Also in February, the ECC became ISO 9001 certified. This was done on February 28th. And what does it mean for our stakeholders? This means that the ECC is consistently focused on increasing our levels of customer satisfaction. You continue to be our focus. Meeting your needs continue to be our focus. We are also committed to maintaining an effective quality management system that ensures that we have clear processes, no confusion, and communication structures throughout our entire organization. So we have departments that are talking to each other, that are effectively communicating to meet the needs of our stakeholders. We continued the year doing several things. In April, we released our ECI assessment report, and that gave the status of our early childhood institutions across the island, gave the public an understanding of how our institutions were doing, gave our parents an opportunity to understand what it means, what the standards mean, and how do they go about choosing the right early childhood institution for their children. This also allowed our donors a clearer picture of the areas of need. So when you see where the school is, then you're able to say, okay, I can help in this area or I can help in that area. In May, drum roll again, we hosted our third Professional Development Institute, PDI 2022. This was again hosted virtually. You know, we were just emerging from the hardest part of COVID, not quite over yet, but emerging. Schools were reopening this year. And our PDI covered 5 days with day 2. And we have within that period celebration as well. For day 2, we recorded the most views. That was 6,423 participants on that day. During this year's PDI, we also celebrated our principals, both chairmen, parents, and our children in an award ceremony. And this is our first time doing this at this PDI. A total of 38 awardees were celebrated this year. We continued rolling along, didn't take a break, and in June, we successfully administered the Jamaica School Readiness Assessment. A lot of persons know it as the Age 4 assessment. And the assessment is used to identify possible issues that negatively impact our children at age 4 so that we can use their age 5 year to address the issues so that they can be properly prepared for primary grade 1. We also collaborated with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Nutrition is a serious part of early childhood development, and we assisted in to create awareness to limit the sodium intake, changing eating habits, and creating a supportive environment for children and families where nutrition is concerned. Some of the activities we engaged in with the Ministry of Health was a live Twitter chat, and that was on healthy eating, active living, shake the habit. That was the name of the Twitter chat. We shared information on reducing salt consumption on ECC social media pages. We also developed media cards, which were also shared on our social media platforms. In July, we turned our efforts to improving our child support screening capabilities in Jamaica, with our field officers being trained to administer the family support screening tool and the Ages and Stages Questionnaire Jamaica. These are the second level screening tools that are administered after the age 4. In August, so every month we have had an activity. Every month our team was engaged, and I applaud the commitment, the hard work, the strength, the stamina of our team. They kept going because the objective is ensuring that all our children fulfill their full potential. So August was our learning environment month. About 3 or 4 years ago, it was 1 week. We had learning environment week. The following year, we realized that we needed more time to assist our practitioners in getting schools ready for the new term in September, in creating the environment that is learner-centered, in working with our parents to have them understand what a interactive environment look like. And so we increased the 1 week to 1 month. And this year again in August, we had our Learning Environment Month. This year as well, we collaborated with the Jamaica Observer. And through this partnership, we were able to highlight the work of our field officers and our practitioners in make and take and chart making sessions that were aimed at enhancing the learning environment. We moved down in the year in October. We reached our 300 ECI certified. This was our National Strategic Plan target, and this was achieved in October. This was made official by our Minister of Education and Youth, the Honorable Favour Williams, on October 11th, 2022, at a ceremony held at the ECC's head office and simultaneously celebrated across all regions. So while we were in head office launching, the regions were doing the same thing in the regional offices across all the region. We include our partners as we set our plans. So towards the end of the year, we usually in October, November, we usually begin planning for the new financial year that begins in April. So we include our partners in this process. And this year we hosted a public partners forum on October 18th and a private partners forum on November 17th. Both were aimed at including our partners as we develop the plans for the sector, building on activities, because, you know, our process charts the roadmap of the development of the child from conception to when we release them to our primary sector, grade 1. And so we include our partners in that process as we build on the future for our children. These are just some of the activities. I could go on and on and on and on and talk about ECC and all we do for the rest of the night. I haven't even included all the community activities that our CROs do, or ECC Pandikana, or Community Flex. Right now, they're involved. You may see it on Twitter in caroling Pandikana. A lot of that is going on as we going our communities, involve our parents, involve our communities, because our children do not live at school. They go home, and they go home to families in communities. So part of our thrust, part of what we do, is to ensure that our parents are involved, to ensure that our communities that are involved, so that we get back to the village raising the child. We are moving away more and more from that. ECC is bringing it back. We need the involvement of the entire community in all that we do in raising our children. These are just a few of the highlights of 2022, the year of early childhood development. I thank you.
Thank you. Wow. And the team. Sophia is thanking you. Right. Every child matters. We will not fail the next generation. We can't afford to. Can't afford to at all.
Yeah,
Awesome job, Mrs. Deslandes, to you and the
thank you,
team.
thank you.
And they said the reward for great work is more work.
More work. Yeah, yeah. We look forward to the more in 2023. We have a
Yes,
lot more to do.
more work, more investment in early childhood development, more resources to carry out the work that needs to go on, and sure that we'll be seeing a lot more happening.
Yeah,
Yes, as
definitely.
support is galvanized for early childhood development, similar to what happened. We did it during the pandemic, with
Yes,
the
we did.
different entities coming together to make sure that so many things happen in rapid time. And I'm sure
Mhm.
we're going to be able to mobilize not just those locally, but in the diaspora, to make sure that early childhood gets the attention that it really deserves, so that we
Definitely.
can have shaped a better future.
For
Thank
our
you.
children, yes.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing
Pleasure.
us to share all our activities.
Pleasure. Pleasure. All right. I know that you got to run. ECC work never ends, right?
Never ends.
All right. Have a great one, and look
Thank you.
look forward in connecting soon.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. All right. That was Early Childhood Commission Executive Director Karlene DeGrasse-Deslandes, sharing the review of the year that's almost over, the year of early childhood development 2022. And Mrs. Deslandes makes way for Lorian Robotham, who is no stranger to the Serenity Resource Connector space. It so happens that those two episodes that were mentioned that were the top views for the year, Lorian was actually on on the panel for both of those episodes. Lori, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling extra excited now. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of the team. They rallied behind me 100%. You wouldn't want to know how many of them setting up tents right now, cheering us on. If they don't watch tonight, they'll watch in the morning. So
Look,
we are excited for the partnership. We're happy for the reviews too, because at the
yes.
end of the day, we want to mold the best lives for our children. So thank you so very, very much for the partnership.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Training and development. The work never ends because you have to keep reinventing, reimagining, and all those re.
Yeah, so true. So
Right.
how we think of knowledge, it's not stagnant. New things are developing. So we constantly, as you said, have to be reading, being abreast of what is forefront in the minds of researchers, and to see how best as the commission we can offer that support. So yes, 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 yes to the lots of reading. We have to know what is current, what is happening.
All right. Amazing. So, assessment.
Yes.
Jamaica School Readiness Assessment. What is that?
Ah, It sounds like a whole heap or something. But ultimately, it is really a tool that the Commission has embarked on using to identify our children who needs further support developmentally and who would need intervention. So this is our first level screening tool that we would have adopted. We really want to figure out, which children need the support because, as you know, the earlier, the quicker you're able to identify, it is better for us to treat and put them in a situation through the intervention process, through our intervention plan, well on their way to the best possible learning outcome. And that is what we are all geared towards. It's a whole lot of work,
Yes.
but we know the value of intervening early. And so, all on board for early intervention. And so, we are 100% fully behind or GSRE, or you'll hear us say age 4 assessment for short, because we target the 4-year-olds. Studies have shown globally that that is the best time to really get a good sense of where our children are developmentally. Because children's learning is very dynamic. I may not be able to say my A, B, C, D, E, F, G today, but tomorrow I'm at Z. And you're like, one night and you know it, because how learning takes place.
Yeah.
So they have to process it. They're doing it. They're feeling it through their senses. And so we know that at age 4, it is the best possible time to really do a temperature check in terms of what is happening with our children developmentally. Um, for this year, it's our first year that the ECC has really taken it on the whole picture. So, that too is new for us, but we're excited because we know that our children are depending on us. So we have different categories in this tool that we kind of zone in under. We look at the health of the child in terms of, whether or not they're seeing well. Is it possible that they're not hearing? Do you think, whether or not they're understanding? Are they able to express themselves? Maybe the receptive language, is a bit dicey. So we look at their health in that capacity. In terms of their learning and their approach to learning, we also look at their behavior. Is it that the child is always eager and willing to learn, or is seeing some apprehensions? Are there any gray areas that we really need to focus on and help our children? We look at the social and emotional learning area. Um, the whole idea, if you're not happy, if you're not well, then it's going to impact your learning, and that is really true. So if the child is hungry and exposed to abuse or anything of that nature, it will impact the learning. So we are hoping that using this first level screening tool, we're able to pick up on those areas, and then as a body, come up with a plan that will say, okay, these are the measures we're going to take now in order to fully support our children. And the next step would have been to use our ASQG. I'll elaborate a little bit more in terms of the assessment. Oftentimes, parents, especially when they hear assessment, they want to prop up the little ones and say, you're going to get tests, so you need to study. And it's nothing like that. It's actually the teacher who would have known the child for the whole two terms, because we usually administer it in the third term, June. So the teacher would have really gotten a chance to know the child, right? And so the teacher would have making some observational notes. And it's from those notes and that kind of interaction with the children through the learning environment, then the teacher is able to assess whether or not, yes, I think this child is eager to learn. I think this child can count from 1 to 10. I'm just giving a hypothetical. Don't make them go study 1 to 10 now. So it's not something that the children can really study. It's over a period of time of the teacher, interacting, engaging the children, that they will now recognize the strengths and weaknesses of their children. And then that now is kind of filtered into, or ASQJ in terms of once we pick up on these children, our next step now is to make that contact with the parents, not to alarm them, for them to panic and feel like the end of the world, because we know how children develop. And it could be a case of just needing some more stimulation in a particular area, or it really could mean that they really need a specialist intervention. So we want to know what the situation is so that we can better treat it. ASQJ for us is coming up in January. So we will be making contacts with parents after, you know, getting through the process with our principals, making sure that they're ready too, because they're the main support in terms of when the teacher comes to school, when the parent, sorry, comes to school. So we have been working steadily with the team in terms of how we will approach it. We're excited because at the end of the day, we want our children to have a better stead. I share quickly. I know I don't have much time.
It's okay. We want to make sure that we get a clear understanding because it's a questionnaire. Is it a literal questionnaire, or how does it work?
Well, for the ASQJ, it is really a questionnaire that we would have adopted. It's something that is copyright, so we had to get the license to adopt it to suit our Jamaican children. It's something that our development officers or community relation officers or inspectors, what we call our field officers, would be administrating. So they would have received training on how to interact with the children. Because, you coming in and you seen Auntie Laura for the first time.
Yes.
I got to talk to her because she's very scary to me with all this big hair and all this color. I want to feel her out first, right? So they were trained in terms of how to warm up to the children, how to get them engaged. The questionnaire aspect is really for the parents, some areas. We do ask the children some questions. We ask them to jump something, walk something, put on something, take off something, just to see their motor development. But it's not in a rigid manner where it's like a test. It's, I have this big, beautiful Teddy. Can you help me put on his clothes? So you want to see, how this child is managing in terms of their self-help skills, their social skills. All it is structured in a way that it would take, depending on the child, approximately an hour and a half. But it's the way the officers would engage, right? So it would seem like it's just playing, we're fooling around and stuff, but we're there taking notes and say, okay, we need to work on that, and making notes. And then we are planning to produce this report now so that the parents will have, on spot to say, okay, this was the results of it. And I'm like when you have a report, you come, you're gathering up all the reports and say, this is my baby developing. Yes, we wanted to have that kind of feel. We don't want it to be driving fear into parents to let them feel as if, something is desperately wrong with their child and this is the end of the world. We're just trying to figure out where we can help, where the areas of weaknesses, so we can strengthen them. So that's our big take, and that's it in a nutshell. Looking at a child, I remember once for a particular training, I had to do a research, and there was this man that I followed. He's autistic, and they call him the human camera. Throughout his childhood was very difficult. He didn't speak, and just picture culturally in Jamaica, hey boy, I talk, and you can imagine what it might have been out here if we're not aware of children and their developmental delays. And right now, he is like a millionaire. He articulates better than you and I. For someone who was, temporarily mute in terms of how he engaged with other persons. And that's just a beautiful story in terms of the potential.
Yeah.
That teacher, that mother, that father, that community who did not give up on him, who said, you know what, he has talent, he has value, he has purpose. Let us work with him. And that is what the commission is all about. We're looking for each child's potential being realized. That's ECC. That's ECC in a nutshell.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're really excited because we know our children needs help, and know we would have that concrete proof through this screening tool to say yes, our children needs help in this area, and this is our plan. And then we will rally on the support. So our partners, wow, we had UNICEF,
Mhm.
had Chase, who really offered a lot of money in terms of getting this, because this is really an investment, our motto,
Yes.
investing today for tomorrow. And they have been on board with us in terms of offering financial support, in terms of getting us to that place where we can now roll out our ASQJ. So we're really excited. We hope for more partners, and
Welcome.
yes,
Yes.
we believe. And of course, our parent ministry, the Ministry of Education, um, Student Assessment Unit. Um, we have so many partners who have been with us throughout the steps, and we're
Right.
just really hoping for an excellent cycle of GSRA 2022. So, yay to Team ECC.
All right. And for the ASQJ, will all the children in the early childhood level at the early childhood level participate in that
Oh, that's a
in January
beautiful question.
2023?
I love that question. Actually, no. Um, we use the H4 as our first level screening, and then when we pick up on the children who need support, we do a more deeper assessment in terms of their development, through different activities. Um, and of course, we have to ask the parents some questions so we get a true picture of the child. So we're getting what the teacher has recommended. We're seeing the child in person, and we're asking the parents in person. So we're getting a whole picture of what the capabilities of each child is. But we only focus on those children who we would have picked up on in our first level screening of needing additional support and intervention. So
All
it's only a subset of all our age four that would
which
be participating.
yes, which makes sense because you did an assessment. Now that this is a tool that you're using to address what you found from the assessment.
Right.
Right.
And
I'm
it,
learning.
yes, it doesn't stop here, because from the results of this ASQJ, we then move on to referrals. So if it is that it's picking up that this child may need intervention in terms of a hearing specialist, some kind of ophthalmologist, then we would share with the parents, these are the services that are offered in your community, in your area. We are recommending, because while you can share the recommendations, some of them, through denial and all kind of issues, may not necessarily want to hold on to what it is that you're saying. But we are recommending it, that they would get referrals, and then from the referrals, no, we have our specialists, our psychologists, our developmental therapists, all those persons know, um, who have the skill set. Not to say that we're not skilled, but we don't have
Yes.
that kind of expertise.
Specialized.
Right. And
Yeah.
so they would know, make diagnosis, because we can't, we're not in that field. And they would create a further intervention plan for our children. So we are really trusting God to really just continue to guide us. As you would have met Mrs. Deslandes, she's
Yeah.
not, she doesn't sleep. Um, and she has some expectations in terms of us meeting the needs of our children. So we will continue to work hard to meet those expectations. So the child is always the center of our thoughts in terms of support.
Right. And
Yeah.
we'll have to see what else we can do to encourage those parents to take action once the recommendations are made. Because what usually happens is that when these situations are left untreated, then they're compounded when they get to the primary school level
Yes,
because they're
yes,
not able to assimilate what's happening at that level.
Perfectly said. Perfectly
Yes.
said. Because that's what readiness, and as we said, is to make a school readiness. We're really
Yes.
testing to see how ready you are for your second, level of education
Level.
in terms of primary education. So,
Okay.
are the children skills really there in terms of managing what will be shared with them at the primary level? And so we would not have to wait until uh grade one to kind of pick up. We already know that, okay, Lori has some issues with some probably regulations, self regulations. So, we're going to work on Lori to monitor her big emotions and her big feelings so that she can learn now, how to interact with her peers. And you can see how it transcend into society, because when you see the news and all
Yes.
this happening, you're saying, wow, your executive function skills. That's another thing we will talk about maybe another time.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
but how it is that our children process certain information. How is it that they solve problems? Because one of the categories in our ASQJ is looking at problem solving too. So you see all of this later on in life. Somebody says something that is really offensive. How am I going to react? And these skills we have to really teach. They don't just grow up knowing. We have to
That's
teach our
right.
children. Right. So we're really excited. We're really excited for this rollout. We can't wait to share all our data and our findings.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to really intervening on our children's behalf.
Amazing. Any additional roles that the parents would play in the process? Because we just came out of November where we were reigniting the village.
Yes. Um, and that too is deliberate because we want them to see the child. We are very academically focused
Mm.
as a country, as a nation, and sometimes we don't look on the emotional side. And where you're hearing a lot about mental health, which
Yes.
it speaks to your emotional health too. How is it? And I'm like 4. I can't articulate, okay, I'm having a very bad day right now. That's not the average 4 or 5 year old. So you have to help me, when I'm feeling very angry because you took my candy or you took my pencil, and my bag is not as pretty as yours and I can't how do I respond? So we look at our community relations officers, or even our inspectors or development officers. How is it that we can support our parents to know that they have it within them, and just guide them along in terms of offering that support for their children? So that means if I'm seeing where the fine motor skills are not so developed, giving them a small pencil may not be the best solution. How about helping mommy and daddy around the house? I'm opening and closing the clothespins.
Mhm.
That's in a practical way. The parent
Yes.
can connect. Oh, I'm helping her fingers so she can write nicely and she can, button up her clothes nice. So we want to make that connection where the gap is in terms of the information, in terms of supporting our children. So we just want them to be receptive. We want them to be very open and patient, and just be on a journey with us because we are looking at their children's best interests at heart. So we will give them some activity to do. They might hear to play, and they're like, "But this is not work." But so we would have to tell them about why it's important to play. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's really about giving them the tools at home to really give the child a full circle in terms of support. So Mrs. saying the same thing as mommy, and Mrs. saying the same thing as grandma, and Mrs. saying the same thing as daddy, because we have to look at families. We have to look at the families.
Oh, yes. Because in their book, Mrs. always right.
Yes. Yes,
Always right. So you better be on the same page.
better be.
Yes, Doreen Brown says, awesome, awesome indeed. And as you mentioned, Chase, earlier, I saw on their social, they were sharing the refurbishing of the Mapen Infant School. And I was like, okay, thank you, Chase.
Yes.
such a beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful building. Oh my goodness, it's really popping.
I'm
We
so sorry, Miss Deslandes has stepped away because
will
that's
share with her.
big
Yeah.
legacy project too.
Wow.
Because children with special needs are dear to her heart. And so retrofitting the schools to really have the physical environment, we will support in terms of having the interactions because quality interactions matter. We
Right.
might have the best looking classroom, but then how are we relating to our children? So we thank them wholesomely for offering
Mhm.
that space that
Yes.
will support all of our learners, especially our children with special needs. So that's one of Mrs. Deslandes' baby. I don't know if it's a secret. So
Well, out now.
it's oh no. So we're happy. We're happy because often too often, our children, the parents feel as if they're alone.
Yes.
We're not being inclusive, and we're big on inclusion. So we want the space to be friendly to someone who may be in a wheelchair. We want the space to be friendly who may not be seen so well, but I'm not going to be exposed to a lot of hazard because you are factoring my individual needs. And so we're really excited. I tell you, Chase has been working with us. We're really happy. We want more support. Um, we're really excited. So that's a big milestone for us, and we hope for many, many more of our schools to be retrofitted to really, you know,
Yes.
suit all of our children.
Amazing. And thanks to the Chase Fund for following the Serenity Resource Connector. That's how I saw. Yeah. That's how I saw I love the picture. And I'm like, this is Maypen Infant School.
Yes, yes, yes.
Amazing. Lori, thank you so
Oh,
much. I know
you're
you have a
welcome.
whole lot
You have to watch
because
it.
yes, a lot has gone on, and I know a lot more lies ahead. And so we want to thank you for sharing. And I trust that the parents have a better understanding and appreciation. So when the school reach out to them, they understand that it's just to give them extra work or to put them under pressure, but just to ensure that their children have the best possibilities at life that life has to offer.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. All
You.
right. Amazing. All right, Lori. All
Okay.
right. So Lorian makes room for Dania Duncan.
Hello, hello, hello. Good night, everyone. How are you doing?
Great, great. Welcome to the space,
Thank
Dania.
you
You
for
have been
having
the
me.
one, pleasure. Dania has been the one in the background sharing the highlights on the Twitter and all over the place. It's really awesome to have you on this final episode of the
Yes,
Year of Early Childhood Development. And you're going to be talking about some things where some people might be wondering Early Childhood Commission and climate change.
yes, yes. All right. So before I even jump into it, thank you for
Yeah,
having me. Like my colleague said earlier, thank you for having us. The Serenity program
pleasure.
has helped us so much in terms of getting our message across, and we really appreciate the partnership. So thank you
Pleasure.
so, so much. So, yeah, you're thinking climate change and early childhood. Are the babies a bit too small to think about climate change? No. Like you said earlier, we want to start from the beginning, from when they're young, so that they can set the tone as they grow earlier. They know how to respect the environment. So, this climate change campaign, it's not our first rodeo with climate change. So, earlier in the year, we did the Eco Art competition and under the theme Invest in Our Planet, which was for children ages 5 to 6 with a cash prize of $30,000. Yes, we did big at ECC. And the competition was to raise awareness amongst our children as it relates to climate change and creating an eco friendly environment. But now we want to do it big and we want to ensure that everybody is aware of these issues, especially our little ones. So, as the leading innovators of the early childhood Caribbean, we want to embark on a climate change campaign that the sector will set the tone, hopefully, for the Caribbean region eventually. We want
Right.
to be big, right? So,
Yeah.
This campaign aims to empower
Before
children.
you get into the campaign, Dania, just a moment.
Oh, Lord. I'm
Share.
jumping
Let's
on it
share
too.
the
Okay.
winner of the eco art competition.
Hello everyone, my name is Rajan Simpson. I attend the Evan Mitchell Infant School Center of Excellence. I use different recycling materials to do my collage. My collage tells us that our planet is crying out for help. Stop wasting water, cutting down the trees, throwing garbage in the river that only causes debris, smoke and oil from the factory that is so unsatisfactory. Investing in our earth, I feel like it just when you're watching. Investing in our planet, I planted some seeds and rode on my cycle to get some fresh breeze. Down by the river, I see garbage and weeds. I picked up the garbage and dispose them with ease. Let us invest in our planet.
All
That was
right. Hooray for Evelyn Mitchell. Oh, Lord, such a creative group.
exactly. And you see, when
Yes.
they start young, they understand what's going on.
Oh, yes. And just turn up the volume just in case you missed it. It's very poetic too. I ride on my
Very,
cycle to get some fresh breeze. I love it. And that's an easy way for them to remember. And once they're cultured this way, it makes it easier for them to respect the environment.
definitely,
Beautiful.
definitely.
Beautiful. Yes. And that video was an amateur video submitted by the parents. So hooray for the parents
We
being
love
on
the
board.
parents involved, yes.
Yes. So right, Dana. So go right ahead and share with us now about the climate change campaign.
Yes, I was a bit excited, so you had to slow me down. I was a bit excited. So, as I was saying before, as the leading innovators of our early child development, we want to set the tone for this campaign. And as I said earlier before, we want to empower children ages 4 to 8. And then when you say no, 4, they're a bit too young, but no, they are ready and they can grasp a lot of things. We see them on the laptops, we see them on the tablet, and they're taking in everything. We want them to take in climate change and eco-friendly environment, and we want them to be aware. So we want these children to be agents of change, learning about sustainability and acting to protect the environment. So I want to highlight topics like recycling, saving environment, saving energy, my apologies, and water, and eating what you grow. So to make this more fun and exciting, we decided to go with 7 badges for climate change, where we create the climate fact finder, the plant protector badge, the recycle dominator, the water protector, the energy defender, and the fume fighter, and last but not least, our fashion blocking badge. So each badge will have 5 challenges, and after each challenge, the badge of honor will be awarded to our participants. And after receiving all badges, a certificate of a climate change ambassador will be given to our children. And of course, the parents would have to chime in and help the kids because they're a bit young, and we want this. We want our parents to be involved so they can get the message across. We don't only want to touch the children, we want to touch the parents as well. And all of this will be provided on our website, the Early Child Commission dot ecc.gov.org. Sorry about that. And we'll have downloadable campaign materials, including activity sheets, social media graphics, stickers, as well as the badge of completion and the certificate of completion. So just to dive a little bit more into the badges, we have fun activities with each. So for example, for the fact finder, we'll have a tell a friend activity where you do a creative skit or a poem and you tell a friend about a fact about climate change. We have our plant protector badge where we do a plant the tree campaign. We see a lot of tree planting campaigns over the years, and we want to join on that bandwagon and carry the torch and do that as well. We'll also include a reap what you sow activity as well, and you make a video of you maybe taking something from your garden that you have at home and you're making a meal out of it, and you share that video on social media so we can get others aware and just starting that momentum of kids actually growing what they eat. And as a country where we are so fruitful, we want to carry that message across to everyone. For our recycle dominator, we have our beach cleanup. It would be so fun to have the children on the beach picking up bottles and ensuring that they understand why it is important that bottles and other plastics does not get into the ocean, because it may affect our animals like our turtles and the fishes and all the other animals that they love so much. We also want to include our schools in these activities as well, because we don't want it just to be up to the parents. So we want to have our collecting bottle campaign where the school that collects the most amount of bottles, they get a cash prize or a prize from the Early Child Commission, but we're still working on the fine details, so I won't put too much out of the bag. So, but those are some of the activities. And then for water protector, we want to ensure that, in the schools we have tap monitors. So when you see the pipe leaking, you go and you turn it off. And then we also as well, for our children, we ask them to conduct an experiment for water purification. So those are some of the things that we want to touch on, as well as one of the major things as well too that we want to tackle is fast fashion. So you know that a lot of persons, they buy clothes and they wear it one time and they throw it away. We don't want children to take up that habit. We want them to donate clothes and recycling their clothes, whether it is at home, you cut up some of your old clothes and you make something fun out of it. You got what I'm saying? And as well as creating a clothes drive. So we have persons who are more less fortunate. The clothes that you have, you don't throw them away. You collect them and you bring them to a home. So those are the messages that we want to get across to our children within this campaign. And we have a lot more. We don't want to give all the fine details away, but those are just some of the activities that we have with our climate change campaign coming up. I know it's a mouthful. A lot.
Which is why the space is so awesome, because you can go back and watch the replay. All right, Stacey is saying with regards to the eco art, I see stream all over the little one's presentation, especially engineering.
Exactly. Right. We're learning the skills from very, very early.
Yes, and we're saying good job and a lot of claps going up. Thank you for tuning in, Zygmunt. Go right ahead and share the name of your organization. I'm trying to remember which organization you're with. All right, and what is the good stuff that you're offering at your organization? I give you the leverage to do that, Cadet. This all sounds so exciting for the little ones.
It is. It is.
Looking forward to it. Very informative and creative ideas. All right. And we're going to be seeing and hearing a lot more about these.
Yes, coming January. I didn't even give a time. Coming January, we want to launch this campaign. So look out for it. Ask the little ones, or if you have a nephew, someone from your church, ask them about the climate change campaign within their school. We're trying to reach as many schools and as many students and parents and communities as possible.
Amazing. And the Serenity Resource Connector is here for it. Love the excitement to the little ones. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dalia.
No
Very
problem.
informative.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. It has been an absolute pleasure working with Team ECC. As I shared earlier, I had no prior connections with ECC before this series started. I just reached out because I had this crazy idea about funding for early childhood education, and I started researching and I realized there is in fact funding opportunities available for early childhood, because originally you think that, oh, it's just high school and university you have programs like that.
And that's why we're so grateful for your program, for giving us this platform so others can hear about the Early Child Commission. We don't want to be small anymore. We want to be a big deal. So we're so grateful for your platform.
Pleasure. You are already a big deal. You're going to be
yes, of course, but we want to be a bigger deal. Not KFC, we want to be a bigger deal.
No, not that kind.
Yeah, we want to be a bigger
deal. Thank you, Lady Brown. Very informative session. Thank you so much. And just remember to keep sharing. Keep sharing. You can share the stream. We need more persons to be aware of what's happening. There are still a lot more people. You have more people maybe in the diaspora that knows about this program than those locally. So please share the information because we need others to become aware. We're empowering our people from the little people all the way up.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you again. And I must thank Tate's Pharmacy because when I went ahead and made this big commitment, when I heard about the year of early childhood development and got all excited, I'm like, no, we're going to go the entire year. Reached out to Tate's Pharmacy and they happily endorsed the series. So we must say a big thank you to Tate's Pharmacy. And for those of you in and around Clarendon, be sure to go out and support Tate's Pharmacy. They have a wide range of things there. That's where I get my vitamins and those good stuff. There's a pharmacy as well as there's a household section, toys for the kids, and each year they usually give back. They usually have, not sure what's happening this year with the whole COVID and all of that. There's usually the Santa where the children get to go and sit on Santa's lap and take pictures and they get their gifts. So let's support those entities that continues to give back. Some of them you might not know much about because they don't say much about what they do. So I'm shouting it out for Tate's Pharmacy. They have been supporting this program. They endorsed the Year of Early Childhood Development series, and we want to go out and support so they can continue to support the program so we can get more information out there. All right. Thank you again, Dania.
Thank you so much for having us.
The entire ECC team, the ECIs across the island, because we have had ECIs from so many different parishes that have been in this space, and not just the practitioners, but we've had parents, we have had the facilitators for different programs. We had even a facilitator from Trinidad, I believe it was, that was on. Is it Trinidad? But one of those Caribbean islands that was actually on sharing from the PDI. I think she was one of the facilitators for the PDI, right? So we want to continue to pass on the information as we continue to stay safe and have an absolutely amazing holiday and take care of the little ones. All right. This is the wrap on the Year of Early Childhood Development series. But we come back next week, Thursday, for the season finale of the Local Governance and Community Development series with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. And we are going all the way to the final Thursday in 2022, God's willing. We're getting in the youth leaders, the ambassadors from out of Clarendon to come and share their views, what it is that they have been doing, their thoughts on what the local governance and other areas have been doing and how their specific organizations can help to strengthen what is happening in the parish going forward. So you don't want to miss that. So share the information so we can continue to stay informed and empowered. God bless you all. My absolute pleasure, Shanette. All right. I need to come in and we need to have a get together where I can meet all of you all in person. Amazing. Thanks again, Dana, and the entire team. And you all have a fantastic rest of the evening and rest of the year. God bless.